Okay, I wanted to share with you guys an idea for the sleeping bed platform foundation inside a Ford C-Max Energi, which was complicated quite a bit by having this battery bump. So the first thing I did is I added just a little bit more support to this bump, because otherwise if you were to sit on there, it doesn't have much support. Might be useful to have one more of those in the center. Then we had to add this frame of support. Now, original idea was actually to go along the lines of the car, like many other similar builds suggest. However, because in the C-Max it's much more narrow in the middle over here than it is with the rest of the car, it was much simpler to just get a basic 2x6, which is actually 5.5 inches tall, from Lowe's, and it was already pre-cut to 48 inches wide, which fit just about perfectly here. I then took a 2x4, cut it to the same width of 48 inches, but it was not quite tall enough, so I did screw on the bottom to it another, don't ask me the size of that piece of wood, but it's a pretty small piece of wood that has the same width and a little bit less of a height over here. So you can see that just added just enough height. And then to give it some more support, I've added, let me go to the other side. I added this extra bar, which is removable, so the whole thing is easily comes apart and comes back together. So add this in, and I can make it a little bit tighter over here, which I should do before my next trip. And that gives it some support. And then on the other side, I simply put just one leg that has an adjustable height on it, just to give it a little bit more support on that side. I could have done one more of these and probably will in the future. Okay, so the next step of the process is actually pretty simple. As a couple of genius YouTubers suggested to drill a hole through both the plywood and into the support, and use, I think this is 3.5 inch, they may have suggested 3 inch, known as a threadless bolt, although there's some thread on it. Some people also call it a drop pin, and you just simply put it into the pre-drilled holes. When you do drill them, you have to be sure that the wood is securely attached, clamped the best you can to the plywood, so the holes actually go in the right places. And then when you're putting it in, make sure you put the corner 4 in first, and then the rest of them pretty much just drop right into their place. So this is pretty quick part of the process. I'm gonna pause here for a second. Okay, so here it is with the platform in place. The only thing that I don't have right now, but I am planning to add, is a clamp over here that would allow me to make sure that this doesn't bounce up while driving. It's going to be one of those clip-on, clip-off kind of things. I think I have it inside. I might show you in a minute. And the very last part of this piece is I do want to run something from that inside component and maybe hook it onto this, under the board, just to make sure that this whole thing does not slide forward. Although when I am driving, my seat will be as far back as it can go, so this is not going to go anywhere. Okay, the next part we did, thanks to another genius YouTuber, is we took some of this painting paper that you usually line the floor with for when you paint. I'll put a couple pieces of it together, although that was after we already stenciled both sides. So we created a template out of paper, and the way you do it is you first start at the spot where the deepest cutout would be. So we had to close the door and measure how far this spot would be from there. And then you basically take a marker and hold the marker with the stick as you just go down the profile and you draw it. Now we already did cut it on the line. So you draw it like that as you go. And basically as you go, it creates the path around. Then you simply cut out that side, cut out the second side, which is practically a mirror. And then you take the two together to create the right width as necessary. Then you take this whole thing and you take we took a full-size memory foam mattress. I will show it to you in a second. And we applied this template to the mattress. Okay, so here is the mattress that we cut out based on that template. As you can see, it pretty much follows the contours exactly out of memory foam. There's another genius video on YouTube, somebody suggesting how to cut memory foam with a powered electric kitchen knife. So I did buy one of those at Walmart. It was like $9. It was actually a very easy process. The top part of the memory foam was easy to cut with just scissors. And then I did need help getting this part stitched together. So I don't know how to stitch, so got some help with that. My girlfriend did a great job with it. Now, the rest of it is what we're getting ready for the trip. I did get a powered fan that can be USB powered or from the car, so that during the day the car won't get as hot. Definitely bring your paper towel, toilet paper with you. This is a tent to change in, so if you have an emergency you can change somewhere. And then this is if you really have an emergency, you have a portable seat that folds down. And then we have also a cooler that will be used as a bucket, and a shower that can be used anywhere by just dropping this little thing into that bucket, and USB powered battery will work the pump. Let's see what else. Okay, not sure, I think there was an interruption there. So the next part is critical to go camping in Florida when it's crazy humid out, and that is to be able to use the AC while sleeping at night. And since this is a C-Max Energi, we can do so without having to turn the engine on at all overnight. I did do a test for about 2 hours, and it used about 13% of the battery. Oh, that was in the shade when it wasn't too hot out, so it might use a little bit more when it's hotter and more humid out. The idea is this: you have to, in order to do it, the car will turn itself off after every 30 minutes by default. So if you go into settings, and then you go to vehicle, and then you go to engine auto off, you have to change the setting to off. Now it will automatically turn itself back to on next time you turn the car off and on. So every time you do intend to keep the AC running for longer than 30 minutes, you have to do this. It resets itself every time. I wouldn't recommend doing that very often, but the 1 or 2 times when you want to go camping and sleep in the car, I do think it's okay. I think the car can handle it without too much trouble. We actually do plan on plugging it in at the campsite, so that might make it even easier on the car. So we're gonna try our first time next week or this weekend.